Matthew chapter 15, verse 21 to 39. Then Jesus went thence and departed into the coasts of Tyre and Sidon. And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coasts, and cried unto him, saying, Have mercy on me, O Lord, thou Son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with a devil. But he answered her not a word. And his disciples came and besought him, saying, Send her away, for she crieth after us. But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Then came she and worshipped him, saying, Lord, help me. But he answered and said, It is not meet to take the children's bread, and to cast it to dogs. And she said, Truth, Lord. Yet the dogs eat of the crumbs which fall from their master's table. Then Jesus answered and said unto her, O woman, great is thy faith, be it unto thee even as thou wilt. And her daughter was made whole from that very hour. And Jesus departed from thence, and came nigh unto the sea of Galilee, and went up into a mountain, and sat down there. And great multitudes came unto him, having with them those that were lame, blind, dumb, maimed, and many others, and cast them down at Jesus' feet, and he healed them. Insomuch that the multitude wondered, when they saw the dumb to speak, the maimed to be whole, the lame to walk, and the blind to see, and they glorified the God of Israel. Then Jesus called his disciples unto him, and said, I have compassion on the multitude, because they continue with me now 3 days, and have nothing to eat, and I will not send them away fasting, lest they faint in the way. And his disciples say unto him, Whence should we have so much bread in the wilderness, as to fill so great a multitude? And Jesus saith unto them, How many loaves have ye? And they said, 7, and a few little fishes. And he commanded the multitude to sit down on the ground. And he took the 7 loaves and the fishes, and gave thanks, and brake them, and gave to his disciples, and the disciples to the multitude. And they did all eat, and were filled, and they took up of the broken meat that was left 7 baskets full. And they that did eat were 4,000 men, beside women and children. And he sent away the multitude, and took ship, and came into the coasts of Magdala. This section of Matthew 15 reveals both the order of God's prophetic plan and the boundless compassion of Jesus Christ. The chapter begins with the remarkable account of the Canaanite woman, whose persistent faith stands in sharp contrast to the unbelief that has increasingly characterized many in Israel. The woman comes to Jesus seeking deliverance for her demon-possessed daughter. She addresses him as, Lord, thou Son of David, recognizing his authority. At first, however, Jesus does not answer her request. When he finally speaks, he declares, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. This statement reminds us that Christ's earthly ministry was directed first to Israel in fulfillment of God's covenant promises. Rather than becoming offended or walking away, the woman humbly continues to seek Christ. She acknowledges her unworthiness and responds with humility when Jesus says that it is not proper to take the children's bread and give it to dogs. Her reply demonstrates genuine faith. Yet the dogs eat of the crumbs which fall from their master's table. She does not demand blessing, but appeals to Christ's mercy. Jesus publicly commends her faith, saying, O woman, great is thy faith. Her daughter is healed immediately. This account shows that while Christ's earthly mission was centered on Israel, God's mercy was never limited by ethnicity. Genuine faith in the Lord was honored. Matthew then records another series of miracles as Jesus heals the lame, blind, dumb, and many others. Once again, the crowds witness his divine authority and glorify the God of Israel. These miracles continue confirming that Jesus is the promised Messiah foretold by the prophets. The chapter concludes with the feeding of the 4,000. As before, Jesus is moved with compassion because the people have remained with him for several days without food. The disciples once again focus on their lack of resources, but Jesus demonstrates that his provision is more than sufficient. With 7 loaves and a few small fishes, he feeds thousands of people, leaving 7 baskets of food remaining. Throughout this passage, Christ's compassion is evident. He responds to persistent faith, heals the suffering, and provides for those in need. At the same time, the chapter continues emphasizing his identity as Israel's Messiah, while giving a glimpse that God's mercy extends beyond Israel to those who come to him in humble faith. Jesus' statement, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel, is an important dispensational statement and should be understood in its context. During his earthly ministry, Jesus was fulfilling God's promises to Israel and ministering first to that nation. This does not mean God had abandoned the Gentiles, but it does show the order of his prophetic program. Today, under Paul's gospel, there is no distinction between Jew and Gentile regarding salvation. Both are saved the same way, by grace through faith in the finished work of Jesus Christ. This passage should not be used to teach that Gentiles today are outside God's offer of salvation, but rather to understand the specific focus of Christ's earthly ministry before the later revelation of the body of Christ. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more KJV Bible teaching. Until next time, search the Scriptures. Grace be with you.